Obviously, not a lot going on today. I didn't expect this many people to be, but I'm very pleased with all. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Obviously, we have a big holiday coming up, celebrating our independence, but I'm appreciative of everybody being here. Last year, several of our members went to the border to witness firsthand those illegals that were attempting to come into our country. In the last year, this problem has been exacerbated tenfold, it appears. Missouri is, in fact, a border state as well. And we sent troops to the border to help Texas and to help the United States defend itself against this mass influx of illegal immigrants, but they continue to come. We have reports of over 10 million illegal immigrants crossing the border in the last 4 years, perhaps 70,000 more are in the state of Missouri. As I've traveled around the state of Missouri since we gaveled out here in May, I'm continually plagued with questions on what we're doing about the illegal immigration crisis and the crime that is afflicting our state. We have crime from many ways, but we also have crime that is addressed through this illegal immigration problem. And people tend to be being completely inflamed by the fact that when someone shouldn't be here legally in the first place or committing crimes, why are they even here? And so we put this committee together. Representative Lane Roberts, who has vast experience in law enforcement, has demonstrated incredible aptitude at crafting good legislation, bipartisan legislation to get through the House and Senate, has been tasked with heading this campaign, or this committee. I'm sure the campaign for him will be to work with all members of all sides, and he's going to address you all in a moment. But really, the message needs to be, if you're not here in the state of Missouri legally, you're going to be detained and you're going to be deported if you're committing crimes, particularly the heinous crimes that our citizens are afflicted with. But if you're not here legally, period, you probably shouldn't be here. And the message needs to be sent: don't come here if you're not going to come here legally. We welcome tourism. We welcome those that are lawfully here in our state, contributing to Missouri and helping our citizenry. We're a great state. We want you here legally. We do not want you committing crimes or here illegally, detained in the port, and that's going to be the message we're going to be sending. I'm going to turn things over to Representative Roberts to discuss the intricacies of the committee. And Lane, if you could please step forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to see all of you here today. I think if you were listening to the Speaker's comments, you noticed that he used the word crime far more frequently than he used immigration. This committee, first and foremost, is about crime. In this particular case, the causes of crime that are associated with illegal immigration. When you deal with crime, you're always looking for what causes it. In this case, there is some obvious evidence that there is a nexus between illegal immigration and associated crime. The Immigration Service is telling us that something close to half of the individuals arrested who are illegal immigrants have some kind of prior criminal history, sometimes multiple cases of criminal history. So the purpose of this committee is to, one, identify to what extent illegal immigration is affecting the crime rate in Missouri. Secondly, to determine what it is we can do about it. This is a thorny issue. This is not going to be easy to deal with. We know that it can be a target for some people who will try to cast it as something other than what it is. The important thing that I would like to say to you this morning is this is first and foremost about crime. What do we do to protect the Missouri citizen, and particularly how it relates to illegal immigration? That's the nexus. First and foremost, this is about crime. We have a couple of representatives with us, and I think have something to offer in this discussion. Representative Jim Murphy actually is one of those people who went to the border. He has seen firsthand what we're dealing with down there. I'd like to ask him up to make a few remarks.
Good afternoon. Last summer, 3 or 4 of us, 3 of us went down to the border and spent 2 days visiting ranches, talking to Michael Banks, who's the czar of immigration for the state of Texas. We spent a lot of time with the sheriffs. We visited ranches. We visited the river itself. We were on gunboats going down the river and seeing what was actually going on at the border. And it was eye-opening. Well, we found out that immigration is really a two-pronged process. One, we have people that are legitimately trying to come to this country, find a better life, and that's the majority of the people that are coming. But the problem is that these people aren't coming on their own. They're being recruited by the cartels. And they're being abused on the way. I never knew what a rape tree was until I went to Texas. A rape tree is a tree that the cartel uses when they rape the women. They hang their panties on the tree as a prize. So there's a lot of abuse that goes on the way to get to the United States. When they get here, they're processed in groups. They're used really as mass border crossings because it ties up the border agents so that downriver they're crossing with the people that can't come through our checkpoints. When you come through a checkpoint, really all you have to do is say, I would like to enter the country. I'm asking for to come here, and they put them on what they call probation and let them through. They do a quick background check, and as long as they pass that background check, they come through. But you got to question yourself, what about all those people that won't do that? It's so easy to come across the border at a checkpoint, but yet we have millions of what we call getaways. We visited a ranch down in McAllen, Texas, where the ranchers actually go out and patrol at night. And they go out with night vision goggles and so forth. And when they catch a group coming across their land, they call the border patrol, who shows up to catch them, because the ranchers have no rights to do that. But you know what? They don't even have night vision. So most of them get away. And why are they getting away? Because they could have come through and got legal status. But these are the people that are the bad actors. These are the people that the cartels are sending through into our cities. And these are the ones that we're most concerned about. Those that are coming here for a better life, we get that. That's not what this is all about. What it's all about is what the cartels are doing. They're sending people over, and then when they bring them over, they are indebted to those cartels. The cartels are taking over are partnering up with our gangs. They're bringing over drugs. And we're just now starting to see the tip of the iceberg of what crime they're bringing with them. So let's not confuse the people that are here looking for a better life with those people that are coming across the border illegally without going to the checkpoint and are doing horrible things. They threaten the ranchers down there. If you turn us in as we come across the border, we will kill your children. It's horrible. In September, I'm going to take another group of legislators, over 30 legislators will go down again. And we will, observe what's going on, see what progress is being made. But don't kid yourself. The immigration we have today is not what we had at Ellis Island. We had an open border at Ellis Island. They came through and there was guardrails. They had to have sponsors. They had to take medical exams. They had a way of bettering themselves once they got here. Today, what we have is an overwhelming amount of people coming across the border that have no sickness, have no way of having a life here. And they're being put in camps and hotels. This is not a good situation. It needs to be taken under control. But this committee was really looking at that other part, the criminal part that the cartels are bringing through, and the criminal part that are partnering with our gangs. This is what this committee will do, and I'm looking forward to being part of it. Thank you.
The crime that is exacerbated the state through this crisis of unabashed illegal immigration exists throughout the state. Dr. Thomas is here today. Representative Thomas represents Canyon County, Miller County. You can talk a little bit about what you're facing in your area of travel.
Sure, we have some concerns down in Lakeview, Ozarks, and we have a problem with sex trafficking down there. And because we have boats, we have people that take from land to boats that are salted and brought back to land. I know that will help with that, but this committee is absolutely going to be looking at a variety of crimes, sex trafficking being one of those. And it has absolutely increased because of our open borders. And I appreciate being on this committee, having the opportunity to help solve the various problems that illegal immigrants and crime have caused for our legal citizens. Thank you.
And David Castile, Representative Castile is from Jefferson County, noted an uptick in crime regarding fentanyl. Could you please talk about that?
Thank you very much for being here today. Basically, fentanyl has been known to be coming across the southern border, both through checkpoints and on the backs of illegal immigrants. I'm pretty sure you've all been aware of the fentanyl crisis that we've all been experiencing for several years now. It's taking the lives of our young people, and it's causing them to lose a lot of time, if not dying from the use of the drug. There's been many reports about 15-year-old children smoking joints that are laced with fentanyl, dying at a party and being placed back in their home for their parents to find them. So I know fentanyl has affected my community in Jefferson County, but I'm sure it's affected every community throughout the state, if not throughout the country. And if we don't do something soon to identify solutions to the problem here at home, then people, young people and older people alike, will continue to die of fentanyl. Fentanyl's effects on the population are much harder than any other drug in its terms of being able to wean yourself off of it. So when it's being used as a mix or being added to other drugs, those drugs become much harder to remove from your system and to find sobriety in life. So I think that fentanyl is going to be one of the largest crimes, trafficking fentanyl, that we will be identifying in municipal and sex trafficking. But these are some of the most heinous crimes we can imagine, and they cause the most, the worst consequences for those involved in it. So thank you all for covering this today.
Representative Party Billington is from Poplar Bluff. He last year helped lead that delegation along with Representative Murphy of McAllen, Texas. Sorry, would you like to address that?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity to go down to the border and see what the problem was. We also, told me what the border line in front of it. They had a lot more treatment then. They were closing the border. If you wanted to come here to the border, you had to wait in Old Mexico until when Biden became president. He changed all that. And so now people talking to the border with like 5 times more people coming to our border than the Trump president. And also, when I came back, we got a bill that said if you commit a crime in Missouri and cross the border illegally, then you could add a felony, Class E felony to that. But when you get a felony, then the white could ship you back on what country you come from. So we're just something that we got to do. The drug company fraud in my part of the country, in Bucks County, it's only about 20 people a year that die in fentanyl. So we appreciate being on this committee. We're going to do all we can to help stop the crime that's going to stop the court. Thank you, guys.
Representative Cindy Cortez from Jefferson County. Cindy, would you like to thank you for what you helped do?
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. You know, out on the campaign trail, one of the biggest issues I hear about is the border and people wanting to know what we're going to do about it. Then you've got other people that think that there's not a problem, and there is. We have at least 3 public administrators in Missouri that are guardians to undocumented people. People think it's not here, but it is here. And I'm so grateful that we've formed this committee and that we're going to be able to do some good work to try to prevent some of this crime and to find some solutions. And I'm really excited because I'm going on that trip in September to the border. I want to see firsthand what's going on because I think it's important that we as legislators know what's going on so we can help combat that. Thank you.
Quite simply, Missourians deserve to be safe. You certainly deserve to be protected from those who are here illegally. If you are here illegally and committing crime, you're going to be detained and deported. That's the message for today. The committee will look into that and best exercise our options to make sure that we are protecting Missouri citizens and our values and our safety. Thank you.
We take questions.
Sure.
Every piece of data shows that natural-born citizens commit crimes far more at a higher rate than any immigrant population. Why is it not a more efficient plan to focus a committee on natural-born citizen crime?
We have a crime committee every year here in the House, and we've addressed crime this past year as well with heightened sentencing for fentanyl as well. But I will tell you, when I'm out there talking to Missouri citizens, I think, certainly every aspect of the population at time, there's crime, right? But we need to attack that. We need to address it. And our citizens deserve to be safe. But when you're here illegally, it seems that much more patently offensive to have an unchecked border with illegal immigrants flowing across committing crime when you're not even here legally and you're committing an illegal act. So, well, I haven't seen that data that says regular citizens are more likely to commit crime than illegal citizens. It seems you've already committed a crime when you're here illegally.
What data is the committee going to use?
I wanted to ask about when we can expect hearings to start. And then my other question was about what the governor vetoed on Friday. He vetoed $6 million to keep, that would have gone to keeping troops at the southern border. Do you have a response to that? And then when, I don't know whether.
I will address the $6 million veto first. I would like Representative Roberts to discuss the intricacies. I'm not going to be micromanaging anything on this committee. I trust that this committee will be well led and well participated in by both sides of the aisle. We were forward thinking on that funding. That we wanted to make sure that the Missourians knew that we were going to be forward thinking on funding those troops guarding the border. I imagine early next year there will be a supplemental that can be addressed then. But our troops are guarding the border as best they can. It was the governor's prerogative to do that. I would certainly not have done that. I certainly advocate for keeping Missouri National Guard at the border, protecting Missourians. And it's been well received across the state, and I think well appreciated from Governor Abbott in Texas, who asked for our help.
Representative Roberts, just the timeline of this committee and what your plan is, when first committee hearings are, how many you're expecting, and maybe who you want to testify at these type of committee hearings.
Yeah, at this juncture, we're expecting 6 hearings around the state. The first one would be here in Jefferson City on July the 11th. We're looking for information from law enforcement, obviously. I'd like to know what those people who are actually on the line are experiencing with regard to crime related to illegal immigration. We expect to try to cover most of the state. We'll be in Kansas City, we'll be in Independence, we'll be in St. Louis, Springfield, Joplin, Cape Cod. At this point, those are the places that we expect to be. And that's going to happen within probably 60 days. In the final analysis, then, we'll be looking at what we can distill that into to determine what do we do about this. It's pretty important to recognize, and I appreciate the question earlier about, how immigrants commit crime versus people who are not. The reality is this: crime has a cost, and there are lots and lots of kinds of crime. The crime related to people who live here basically covers all kinds of crime. The legal immigration tends to be a more violent kind of crime. So while that number may not be as big as some other group, nonetheless, it has a disproportionate impact. But the important thing is what I said earlier. This is first and foremost about crime. The causes of crime is how you go about addressing crime. I spent my entire adult life in public safety. When we identify crime and what are the causes of it. In this case, we're looking at how illegal immigration plays a part in the cause of crime. It's a segment. So I don't want to get distracted from the idea of who commits the most crime. We're focused on crime related to illegal immigration. We want to solve that problem, which allows us to move on.
Why now? What is the urgency of this if there isn't any data showing that immigrants are the ones committing the crime, doing the crime problem? Why now?
I think there's two obvious reasons. One is because the problem has gone incredibly exponentially over the last, particularly the last 4 or 5 years. And for me, the sense of urgency is I have a limited amount of time in the legislature to do productive things to address what I think are problems in our state. I want to make sure I spend my last 2 years effectively dealing with that. And there's no question in my mind, regardless of any other factor, there is a direct nexus between some of the most violent crime and immigration. So I'm going to focus on that, do something about that within my time is up.
Based on what data, though? That's the thing. What data are you guys seeing that you're not citing, that we're not seeing?
I'm not going to pretend to have a big deal about that today. I will tell you, there's a lot of data associated with it. That is data we intend to spend a lot of time talking about. I'm not going to get specific about that, that's an official FAA.
Mr. Speaker, do we have the legal authority as a state for the people?
Well, that's what the committee's going to be looking into, right? I mean, I think Representative Roberts has enumerated some of the things they're going to look at will be how we can better cooperate both with federal agencies and maybe how federal agencies might be better served to cooperate with us. Myself, I have personal experience on calling ICE and saying, hey, I believe we've detained an illegal immigrant who's charged with a crime. Can you please come check them out, pick them up? They haven't done it. I mean, they're stretched. I think there's a lot of things this committee can look at. I'm excited about what the committee's put together and what they offer. A broader way, it's a good bipartisan committee. I look for results that come out of the committee. And while my time here is obviously, winding down, the serving the state and protecting the people never should go away. And I think the next legislative session will hopefully foster some good legislation to help address this. It's certainly going to create greater awareness on what we can do as Missourians to serve ourselves and protect our citizens. Our citizens do not deserve to be victims of violent crime perpetuated by illegal immigrants who are coming here. And if you are going to commit violent crime, you are going to be detained. And we're going to do our best to deport you. We're going to stand up for our state sovereignty and our citizens for the state of Missouri. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I look forward to hearing what the committee produces. And we'll certainly be in touch beginning in July. Thank you all.